Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a good evening. Thank you very much for joining me. And if you are watching this video and you enjoy it, thank you. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If you like it, no pressure. But yeah, if you do like it, click on that little button and show us some love. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Tonight, I'm going to do something very cool, I reckon. It's like it's a boat scene, so it's boats, but it's not boats as we know it. There we go. It's boats like with no water, really low tide somewhere. It looks like an Asian scene. I think somewhere in China, I believe. Yeah, I got it from like a free reference photos resource, and it's really cool. Painted it before and really enjoyed doing it. So I hope you enjoy the tutorial side of it. There's a few cool things coming up in it. So one thing that I really want to focus on is wet in wet. We will get some great wet in wet stuff going on here. And the importance of letting things do what they do. That's a really, really important thing that we need to have a look at. Expressive brushstrokes, as always, it's very important and should never be overlooked, ever. Because if you overlook being expressive with your brushstrokes, there's no point in doing what you're doing. Let it rip. That's it. No drums. And the last sort of focus point is being selective. And I don't mean that in the usual way of edit what you see and all that. It's not that dramatic, but you don't have to put absolutely everything in all the time, because we're creating a scene just like Henry is out there. He's probably getting put to bed. G'day, Julie. How you going? Good to see you there. But we want to be tastefully selective is probably the better way to put it. Selective is good when it comes to painting, because if we were to paint everything we see, what's the point? Your eyes exist. Photos exist. We've all got a bloody camera on our phone in our pocket all day, every day. So what's the point? So we need to take a scene, use it as a reference point, a jumping off point, if you will, to creating a piece of art, hopefully. That's what we're after. So fingers crossed we get there tonight with this scene. So we've got Julie there who said hello. Who else have we got watching live? I'll give it a couple of minutes until everyone sort of turns up. But no, if you're watching the replay of this, thank you so much. Be sure to, where is it? That side, over there somewhere. Click on the little button down there. Pro right here. And that'd be great. That'd be a very cool, thing for you to have done for me. Now, let's have a squeeze. We're set up in portrait mode because the scene we're doing is this one. So like I was saying, it came from some kind of reference, I think, reference library on Facebook, perhaps. Don't quote me on that. But it's a very cool scene, and it's got that mistiness and the nice boats, and we want to create that nice mood to it as well. We want to have some composition's pretty good as it is, but what I really want to focus on is simplifying even further, because if you squint your eyes and you look at the background, it's just nothing there, and that's good, because it's just a block of tone. There's a sky tone, and then there's that middle tone of the distant hill, and then there's slightly stronger in front of that, and there's our background. So I really want to simplify those so it's just a couple of tones, indicating what's there, not spelling it out, not having it punch you around the face. We don't want that stuff. All about expression and impressionism. Dare I say the same thing. The boat in the front is pivotal. Obviously, it's kind of the focal point, I suppose. So we want to concentrate on a couple of things, like the white line that sort of goes and sort of forms the lip of the boat, if you like. I don't know what the technical term is, probably lip. I don't know, something like that. Edge, something, I don't know. And all these little boats in the distance, we'll put a couple of those in, of course, but we'll treat them almost like second-class citizens. You know, we'll just push them in the back, treat them simply, and have them perform their function in this piece, which is to give us that little bit of middle distance, you know. So here we go. I will shrink this down a little bit, and I will put it, I'll shrink it down even further, and I'll put it over here. There you go. That's a good spot for it by the look of it. I'll keep that there. And I will bid you adieu. I will be going over right there to the desk, the easel, if you will, and we'll get stuck in. But just before I show you that, let's do this. My palette, it's all my colors that I always use, always in the box, doesn't matter, you know. Well, sorry, Henry. Who else is there? Say hello on the chat if you can. Let me know you're there. And yeah, they're always there in some capacity, so we'll use a mixture of these things. And you can, if you don't get that, I'll leave it sitting there for a second. But you can always just ask me what I'm using, and I'll tell you to the best of my ability. Sometimes it's a bit difficult because I don't know what I'm using. It's sort of mixed up from stuff in the palette. But I can give you a rough idea. And my main brushes, these never really change for there's a couple of little weird ones that go in there, but the Escoda Perlas are fantastic, great points, and they last a long time. Synthetic, they're sort of done, I use them for a lot of the medium-sized work. And I've got the Escoda Mop, which I use all the time as well. I like some kind of round sable brush to have in there, some rigger, and a skippy brush, which I don't know, might not even get too much action in this one because there's not too much foliage we need to worry about. But there we go. They are my main weapons. All right, cool. G'day, Sharon. How you going? How you going? Excellent. Let's go. All right, well, I'll head over to start painting, and you guys hit me with questions, anything you want, just hit me with it and I'll do my best to help you out. In the meantime, I'm going to draw a pretty picture. It's going to be very complex, very detailed, and I'm very much joking, of course. All right. People ask what sort of pencil I use. Just use a pencil, whatever. But I like mechanical pencils because they're always sharp. They're ready to go. My only stipulation, I mean, it's not even a stipulation, do what you like. It's your life, but if you want to make it easier, just use something like 2B or softer, just so it disappears a bit into your wash. Anything harder than that, like an HB or something like that, I just wouldn't bother because it can cut your paper too severely. And yeah, that's about it. That, believe it or not, is my horizon. That's all I'm doing there. And I'll get this boat in. It's a little bit of a hint with painting boats that are in this sort of format. And I got this from the sadly late artist Sava Sava, who was a brilliant fella. Fortunately no longer with us. But you do a bit of a infinity sign like that, and you come around. Just kind of, obviously it's a bit different because it's on land. Roughly there. That's how you get the shape approximated anyway. And then, if you want to rub it out, you can just rub that out like that. It's a good trick, really good trick. Just helps you out if you're on if it's this sort of, this kind of sort of structure that you're after. Yeah, I'm not following the reference too closely. I just want to get the rough idea. And there'll be, you know, things. There's a boat back there as well, which we can just slot in real gently with paint. What else have we got? There's something there. These boats, I don't know. It's just stuff. Just little shapes. Treat them as shapes. Don't worry about treating them as, you know, specific completed boats or anything. Just, you know, let your impressionism take over. And believe it or not, that's kind of it for the drawing, like almost. I'll do a little bit more, but not much. Not much, that's for sure. Just lock that in a bit tighter. I'm using this Baohong rough paper and it's very rough. It chews through the pencil. About there, two. That's all we kind of need. I'm aware that I need to leave that line. And that'll just be something melting into the scene. Why not? There'll be just stuff that we paint that'll say boats to us, really. When I painted this before, I did put in a little bit of water, like a bit sitting still water, which I liked. So I might do that kind of thing again. Have it just form part of the scene. I like it. I like it. Just little, you know, it's nothing. It's not a river or a lake or anything, so try not to be too pedantic with it. But and it gives us a bit of a lead in there too. That's cool. All right. Who else we got there? Say hello, you buggers. Say hello in the little bloody chat thing. Say hello. I'm lonely, you know. All right. Here we go. So, for all the wishy-washy stuff, I'm just going to use my sable and a bit of water. I'm just looking at muck here. I'm talking about tone, so I want bugger all on there, and that's kind of it's almost too strong, almost. But I'll get going because I know it'll dry off a lot lighter. But all right, and just want to bring that down nice and quickly, just so this is just grey mixed from the palette. You know, I could mix things from, you know, the side of my little urine jug that I use for water. Well, among other things, I suppose. But that wash just nice and clean. I just want that to come straight down. Don't want to do too much else. Now, I went into some raw sienna. So I'm looking for that sandy, dirty, sandy colour now. This is where the light is really in this scene. Lots of light. But we need it, we don't want it to be unnaturally bright. So I'm going to mix it until we get a nice, excuse me, Nice little flang. And I come down all the way across pretty much everything except for the top of that boat. I really want to try and just keep that paper on that side at least. So yeah, it's barely there. It's just a bit of stuff. See, I'm just letting it loose. Just careful of the bit you want to cut around. That's about it. Don't have to worry about it. Yeah. Just keeping it going here. And I want to keep this little, well, call it a river, but you know, this little bit of water here. I want to keep it fairly white, so I've got the option of doing things with it afterwards. And I've just added a tiny touch of burnt sienna into that mix. It's all just that earthy, sandy kind of colour. But we don't want it to be too neat and tidy. That's definite. We don't want that. And we don't want this to read like a proper river, you know, something that's flowing. We just want it still water. So just keep a few bits there. That's good. Bit more BS, as in burnt sienna. Just a couple little bits, that's all. And it's just to give us something different to go into. Doesn't have to even be big flowy things. It can be tiny little puddles. Doesn't matter. You know, grab your brush if you've got some weird stuff on there. So let's go. There's this weird little grey colour. Just grab a few. That's how you do it. Just splash it around. When you're splashing, it sounds like a silly thing. Whenever I do it, people are just freaking out. So just like think about it like this. There is a technique to it. Like you're pointing a brush, that's where your water and your paint's going to come out of, right? So if you want it to go along this direction, you'd simply just splash that way. I mean, you'll get stuff on the furniture. That's all right. It's only furniture, doesn't matter. But that's how you kind of do it. There is a technique to it, but practice it. You'll get so much more interesting works rather than going putting little dots everywhere. You know, dunk, 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 dunk. No, bang, bang. There you go. Cool. And believe it or not, it's kind of the first bit. Oops, excuse me. G'day, Jenny. Good to see you there. Thank you. I do apologise for my creaky floor again, but you know what? Tough titties. Don't matter. It's all good. Not much I can do about it. And I'm just going in to, if there's anything I just want to lift out or whatever, it's all just about creating a different vibe. Go for it. So, here we go. We want to, I don't want to let it dry yet. I'm going to go for a pointy brush. And what do we got? I'm just looking for things that are lying around. And I just want to put a little edge on these little bits of water so that it looks like a puddle. And I just want to do it while it's pretty wet so that it sort of melts in a bit and it doesn't form too hard an edge. Just on these little bits. Just on the edge facing us, basically. And it just gives us that little bit of three-dimensionality to it. a little bit. It's all pretty subtle, so don't get too panicky and worked up about it. See how you've got all these little dry brush marks. Why not? And we can do that, whatever. It don't matter, it'll do something. Okay, cool. Now I will dry it. Hello, Jennifer. Thank you. It's early days yet. Couldn't make a right stuff up of it, but we'll see. Fingers crossed we don't. Here's Adele, everybody. And this Baohong paper stays wet a lot longer than the cylinders that I'm used to. I'm slowly getting used to this, so I prepare for it now. But gotta let it dry off, otherwise coming to all sorts of dramas afterwards. Right. So it don't matter. That's right. 100% true. Don't get me wrong, I love painting. It's my life. It's literally my living, you know, getting there. But it's just painting. We're not splitting atoms. We're not curing cancer. So you don't get too up in your head about it. That's for sure. Now, in order to get softness up here, even though I've dried that off, I now want to wet it again so that the washes that go on denoting the hillsides are quite soft. Now, just a bit of spray up there will buy us a bit of time. And it needs to be cooler and stronger. Not much stronger. And I'm not worried about making it look exactly the same topographically or anything. That'll do. That's all we want. Just something, a bit of dry brush is good so that you can, you know, give a bit of indication that something's going on without having to, you know, put in boring detail. So it's just literally that kind of thing. That's just the distant hill. So we'll spray that a bit. I don't care. It's good if it goes all nice and soft. That'd be nice, actually. I might spray it a little bit more. There you go. Now I'm just going to take that same little mix I've got and just put some other stuff into it to strengthen it a bit. A little bit of neutral tint won't hurt, but I want to keep it quite cool. When I painted this before, I made a bit of a blue, pardon the pun, in making this next part warm. I went warm in this little bit, and it didn't work as well. But it's all good. You live and you learn. So I'll keep it cool, just stronger tonally. That's all. That's all it kind of needs to be. You don't have to do anything else, anything major. It's just a bit of tone, and just those couple of little brush strokes that you know, are giving us that dry brush effect. That's spelling it. Any information that we want there, it's enough. It's enough just to let it sit like that. So I like that heaps better than the one I did before. Already good. food. Cool. So we went and checked out a house today that we're going to put an offer on in the morning. It's all different down here in Tassie. You can't just make an offer and have it be accepted either verbally or written down. It's got to be a full-on form and everything. So sure, a bit different, but no, it's good. Very exciting. All right, so I am going to now paint all this kind of stuff here. Just the middle distance, and no big deal. Just going to be basically in silhouette form. They're going to be around about the same tonality, if not a little stronger, to that distant hill we just did. But they're all just going to be nice and cool. Jeez. Oh, the temperatures down here aren't really changing. So the creaky floors remaining creaky. Once the temperature changes, we'll be laughing. Good news is, in this place, if we get it, I've got a designated area for a studio. I don't have to be inside the house, which will be freaking fantastic. Not only for me, for everyone else in the house too. So yeah, just stuff. I'm not painting anything as such here. It's just bits of things. Shapes to indicate stuff. Sounds like a bad 90s, early 90s dance song. Shapes to indicate stuff. That's terrible, that joke. That's awful. I apologise for everybody for that. It's very, very bad. And just whacking a few little shapes, keeping a few negative highlights there, which is always good for this kind of painting. Yeah, I'm just going in there. See how I'm doing that? And I'll do it more over here too. But I'm just painting the hull essentially just with a dirty colour, and I'll go into it at the top with a bit of other colour there, a bit of stronger stuff, and that'll just start being a boat for us without having to do too much work. And little things like that just come up to give us some make an impression of something without having to spell it out. I do want to just sit that on the ground a bit better. There you go. It's a bit nicer, a bit darker. And just a shape here. Bang, 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 bang. Just a shape. Bit of colour in, just to break it up a little bit. See how your brushwork, it's what I mean about expressive brushwork at the start. I'm letting it do its thing and, painting stuff, but just leave it, like use your brush. Don't just colour in like this. Use it like poof, poof. Move it across. I don't know what that is, but just painted something. Something there. Why not? You know what I mean? Don't get bogged down in colouring in. If you want to colour in, go and colour in. Don't do this. Look, there's a person there and I didn't even mean it. There you go. There's a figure, nice accidental figure. We'll give him a mate who's doing some work or something. Oop. Oop, maybe not. a couple of mates. There you go. Just silhouettes, you know. It's good. Jen, this is the second time I've painted it. But there were things in the first one that I didn't like that I just want to sort of fix up. And I plan to do a bit of a, I wouldn't say series, is probably too dramatic a word, but a YouTube video where I go through, show you some of my existing works and sort of articulate what I would do to fix, so to speak, things that I would change. Looking forward to doing that because it's always a really handy thing to know. Just things that I look for anyway. I mean, every artist is different, but things that I look for in order to fix things up and, you know, just what my eye is telling me. So yeah, it's a good opportunity to paint things. You should always paint things a couple of times if you want to. Shit, doing workshops, like I paint things hundreds of times because sometimes with workshops you know, like you just find pieces that are really good things to teach. They got really good teaching points in them. So even though you may have physically painted them a few times, beauty of watercolor, every time you paint something in watercolor, it's different. So it's good fun to paint things a few times. Now, see how I've just done that? Like, talking about brushwork again. You know, there's no colouring in. It's just straight across. Get it in there. Now, I want this obviously to be a lot darker. So now I will mix up a dark bluey, purpley kind of thing. And I'll start making some darker marks here. Put that all in the dark. And I still want to keep it like a, you know, an old thing. I don't want to make it a pretty boat or anything. But happy to kind of let it do its thing a bit. Cool. What I will do is now just go into the base just with some really thick neutral tint. So while it's wet, this is where expression comes in again. This is when you start pointing things out that you like. You start putting your own stamp on things. And that is quite nice. Like that already. And when I put the shadows in, that'll all stick everything down on the ground. But I do want to just a bit of warmth there. It's a bit too cool. Yeah, the place we looked at, bloody love it. It's really nice, and it'll be perfect. Fingers crossed we get it. Now, just while I've got all this wet in wet stuff going on here, I'm just going to put some shadows in. I'm kind of embellishing the shadows a bit from the scene, but that's good. That's what we want, because we want to create bits of art. Remember, we're not just copycats. We're artists. Artists, goddammit. Don't you know I am very important artist? You just ask me, I will tell you. I will tell you there is no one like me. You be original. There is no one like me. Except for everyone. So, you have to be expressive. Look at that. Bang, bang, bang. And see all this stuff? You can't paint that. That's watercolor at its best. All right. All right, lovely, cool. So I'm just gonna splash a bit and let it run for a second. We're in Hobart. Hobart is a beautiful, beautiful place. Now, while I've got that big brush going, I may as well continue this stuff down into the real dark stuff I want here. But I want it quite, it's almost purpley. It's very purple. But I want it quite strong coming into here. And this will lighten up a little bit, so don't panic. Not that you probably panicked, but you know what I mean. Now, okay, cool. Das ist gut, mate. Now, grab a couple of tissues. Just want to bring out a little bit more of that light there. Just lost a little bit of that. That's all. Yep, cool. Good, good. Got it back. Oh, bloody floorboards, I tell you. All right, now I'm just going in again, just here and there, just on the base of this boat. See how I don't really join anything up? They're not clean lines, like completed, perfect lines. It's definitely deliberate. That's annoying me a bit. It's got to have a bit more volume. Yeah, that's a bit better. Don't want to lose the crisp nature of this stuff here. I think it'd be a shame to lose that crisp edge there. In fact, I'll just go and tidy that up a little bit. Okay. So we're getting there. There's a temptation here that you may feel if you do this scene, you may feel it's a temptation to do something there. I really don't want to, because I'm picturing in my mind as I go through, I'm going to have all these masts and things, and I'm going to exaggerate these masts to give us that vertical to connect everything into the sky. So compositionally, it'll be much cooler. So if you go ahead and put stuff in there, it's just going to muddy it up even more, you know. So you've got to be mindful of that. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Karen. Bloody love it. Love it, Sharon. Sorry. Did I say Karen? I think it's because I saw Kane. Sorry, Sharon. What I want to do is just give that a bit of a thing. It might be too early, but it's okay. Bit of stuff there. Couple of little bits. I'll allow Our little puddles have kind of disappeared, but that's okay. I like how this looks even better, really. So it's got that dynamism to it. It's got this warm stuff showing through under that purple. I like it. And it's really tempting as well to go back into, so what I did here to re-establish the base of this boat here, I looked at that and for a split second went, I should do that there, and went, no, because it's pushed back a little bit. So you don't want that. It's good to have that's impressionistic and it's not spelled out. So always be mindful. My philosophy is always think long, paint quick. So think about what you're doing. Absolutely have a thought process. Don't go into anything just blind willy-nilly. You might have some accidents that look great once in a while, but ultimately it's just a bit of luck. Have a plan and have a think about what you're doing. But when you execute it quickly and with pizzazz, flair, with a bit of character. So I'm just going to go through and dry this again now so we can start putting in all the little bits of detail. Still impressionistic detail, absolutely, but we just want more made of things like ropes and, buoys, flotation device buoys and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. I've got a feeling that I can't go on. Alright, here we go. Getting there slowly. It takes a while to dry, but I want to make sure it's 100% done and dusted. Thank you to those people last week who have made contributions to the pirate ship and keeping it afloat. I'm not sure if can you guys tell any difference this evening of the quality of the picture at all? Very curious. I've got my opinion on it. I just want to see if you guys if you think about it, can you notice anything different or anything better about the quality? Ugh, it's bloody noise. Hello, Roberto. How are you, mate? All right. So see all that stuff in the boat, like the main boat, how it's all sort of melting in, and the stuff down the bottom, like when it's sitting on the ground, it looks really melty and yummy. Leave that stuff. When that happens, that's watercolor at its best. Stuff you don't paint, it just happens on its own. It's expression. We're expressing ourselves here. We're not. Oh God, I hate boring coloured in painting. I bloody hate it. So avoid that at all costs if you can. But here we go. Yeah, it looks all right. I'm just looking at it on the screen now for a second. Now I'll go through now. Yeah, let's do that. Go through and I'll start putting some things in. Yeah, like all this stuff here looks really cool. I did notice something here. That straight line's a bit funny. I just want to soften it a little bit or something. That's just with a bit of paint, a bit of water. Just want to round that off a bit there. That's better. That's better. Cool. Okay. So a whole lot of masts and stuff. Just for these stuff in the distance, I'm just going to use my rigger. Hopefully it's behaving itself. Nah, I soaked it in paint. I've got to wash it properly. Let's get this one. I'll get the old Alvaro needle out. The needle brush. Have you seen these? They're cool. Should have a crack. They're very nice. They're like they've got a fat belly on them, so they're very handy for me. But they've got a nice point, which I won't see. See, I've got a joke that I could make there, but I might upset someone. Someone will clutch at their pearls and move on to another channel. Little buggers. All right, so I'm just mixing up pretty light, sort of browny, just using stuff that's around the palette. And I'm just going to start putting in little indications of masts and things at the back. Even up here, it's okay. It's just indicating and showing us that there's stuff going on in the background. That's all. Put a little bit of jaune. Don't do too much, but it's just there. Connects us into the sky a bit, and you just want to, soften up anything that's a bit harsh. Yep, cool. Oh, jeez. Can't wait to get out of this house. Okay, so we're thinking, in this case, obviously the normal, quote unquote, normal procedure with watercolor is light to dark, which makes perfect sense. Transparent medium, blah, blah, blah. Perfect sense. But you don't always have to follow everything like that all the time. So what I'm going to do here, the general way is I would put some color accents and things and then put some darkness over the top, like dark masts and little dark bits of calligraphy. But I kind of want to do it a different way. I'm going to put the masts in first, like the dark stuff on the masts, and then I'll put the dark little ropes and whatever else goes on. And then I want to put the colours in right at the end, so almost, straight out of the tube, real opaque and real punchy, so that we don't get any funny looking things from there. We want it nice and strong. So just going back into neutral tint, usual favourite. Masts, why not? Let's go from here. Do it quickly, nice and fresh. And I'm going to bring one out from there. And I will just tidy it up a tiny bit. Not much. And that going out of the composition, you'll see later on that'll be really effective. This one will do quite strong as well. That's all, we don't need much more than that. While we've got this dark, sort of thicker paint, I am just going to do a few little marks here that just make everything a little bit stronger for us. Now's the time to do a bit of splashy. Not too strong, not too much. but it's a good bit of expression. You know, just make it water. Once you've got some on there, make it water. Let it swirl around, do its thing. I will just take these out of shot like so, and put in something there. Something like that. And I'm going to drink. Yep, a couple of bits of colour now. I really want to get the fluoro-ness, if that's a word, on those buoys. Sorry for the noise there. I just have to get my Art Spectrum Cat Orange, which is the most garish orange in the world, but it works beautifully for this. Yeah, not much water. A bit of lemon yellow. Why not? Yep. Let's have a look where they are. One there. And I will put a little bit of shadow. I'll make them a bit more three-dimensional. Swirl, this one there. There's another buoy. Let's just go here first. Let's make some shadow up. So it's not all just stickers. Good. Let's get this colour. There's another little buoy, another little floaty that goes about there. That'll do. When you've got some opaque jean or something like that on your brush, you can afford to do a little bit with it. Same again, always like to make these foregrounds a little bit abstract, a little bit messy, if you like. It's a bit of interest as it goes into the scene. Alright, let's go. See, just getting it in there, going for it. Now that's what your art is, playing with these things and having a bit of fun. So you don't have to copy everything all the time. As soon as you realise you don't have to do that, life becomes so much better. I don't know, there's no little rigging or whatever, but we'll do something. And because everything's orange, just going to counteract that with a bit of blue here and there. Just want to break that little shape up. And there you go. I don't actually think we need any white highlights. I don't think it's needed at all. One thing I will do is just a bit of lavender or something, sort of break a bit of that darker, just so it reads a bit more rustically. You know, a bit of lavender on your brush, don't waste it. Just have a look at that for a second. It's always really tempting to just keep going with stuff, and you've just got to not do it. Just tell yourself to stop it, you dickhead. Now, here's a point. See how important it was to not do anything in that background bit there, or don't need to do anything to the distant mountains. My favourite part of this whole painting is that distance. It looks really good. But let me just keep that like that. Ugh. Oh, excuse me. Take the tape off and check it out with new eyes. Follow me. Your head. Okay. There you go. What do you reckon? Do you like that kind of thing? I like that scene, I really do. Good scene. Let me just check it out. Just trying to make the colours look as accurate as possible. That's probably better. I think that's probably a bit more accurate. Not there, but about there. A bit more accurate. Probably not as bright. There we go. That's probably about it. That's probably a decent rendition. Oh, thanks, Kim. No worries. No problem whatsoever. I really appreciate it. Next Tuesday, I'll be doing my first weekly workshop back from hiatus. So that'll be Tuesday, 10 a.m. probably, maybe even a little bit earlier, but I'll keep this posted. Yeah, we'll do 2 paintings and get stuck in, and should be cool. But no, if you've enjoyed any of my videos, if you please subscribe, and also check out all my other videos. Just watch them. Just put them on in the background. You'll start hearing. You don't even have to watch. Just listen to all the inane rubbish that comes out of my gob, and you'll start picking up on little tidbits, and you'll hear my annoying voice in your head when you're painting, which can be helpful, hopefully. So I really do appreciate everybody sticking around and watching this. Here we go. I've got a new camera set up. Hey. Oh, jeez. Don't look good in this light. That's better. But no, thanks very much, everybody. I really appreciate how it's going. Wish us luck for this house. Hopefully, everything goes through okay, and we get it. We get it, and it'll be ours. That'd be great. But fingers crossed. But if you paint this scene, please share it to the group. I can't wait to see it. So on Facebook, it's Glazed Over Watercolor, and just join that group if you haven't already, and just post the pictures, post your paintings, any painting, these or otherwise, and you'll get some great support. There's a lot of people in that group that give a lot of encouragement, a lot of support, and it's a pleasure to be in charge of. In charge of it, I don't really do much to it, but no, I appreciate everyone. I really do. So thank you very much, and I will see you again, most definitely, next Tuesday, and also we've got another video of demonstration coming out hopefully tomorrow. I've just got to finish off editing it, and I'll publish it up, and I'll share it on the group as well. But no, thank you again, everybody, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great night. Bye bye.